the tools she didn't know she needed. The laptop sat open on the kitchen counter, the cursor blinking like a quiet accusation. She had 15 minutes before the next round of snacks, questions, and the beautiful chaos that made her feel both needed and invisible at the same time. 15 minutes to figure out if she could actually do this or if she was fooling herself again. She wasn't building an empire, she just wanted something that felt like hers, something that didn't disappear into laundry piles and grocery lists, something that whispered back when she asked, "Am I still capable of this?" The truth is, most stay-at-home moms who start businesses don't fail because they lack ideas. They fail because they lack the right support systems. The tools that turn exhaustion into efficiency. The small bridges between I want to and I actually did. But here's what nobody tells you. The tools that matter most aren't always the ones you see in ads. They're the ones that quietly remove friction. The ones that give you back 10 minutes here, an hour there. The ones that make you feel less like you're drowning and more like you're building something real. She learned this the hard way at first. She tried to do everything manually. Design her own graphics from scratch. Schedule posts one by one. Track her finances in a notebook that she kept losing under permission slips and art projects. It felt noble somehow, like she was proving she could do it without help. But noble doesn't pay the bills. And more importantly, noble doesn't give you energy to show up the next day. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. She'd spent 2 hours trying to resize a single image for 3 different platforms, only to realize she'd saved over the original file. Her youngest was crying because the neighbor's dog was barking. Her oldest needed help with math homework, and somewhere in the middle of it all, she thought, maybe I'm not cut out for this. What she didn't know yet was that she wasn't failing, she was just fighting with the wrong weapons. The first tool that changed everything wasn't expensive. It wasn't flashy. It was a simple design platform that let her create professional-looking content without needing a degree in graphic design. Suddenly, what used to take 2 hours took 20 minutes. Suddenly, she could breathe again. She started with templates, modified them during nap time, built a visual library that actually represented what she was trying to say, and for the first time in months, she felt like she was moving forward instead of just surviving. But design was only one piece. The real transformation came when she stopped trying to be everywhere at once. Part of her still carried the guilt. The voice that said real entrepreneurs work 18-hour days and sleep when they're dead. The voice that said if she needed tools to help her, she probably wasn't serious enough. The voice that compared her kitchen counter operation to people with teams and funding and time that didn't get interrupted by requests for snacks every 45 minutes. She almost listened to that voice, almost closed the laptop for good. But then something shifted. She realized that working smarter wasn't cheating. It was survival. It was strategy. It was the only way someone building a business between school pickup and dinner prep could actually make it work. So she started researching. Not the shiny tools that promised overnight success, the practical ones. The ones that solved real problems she actually had. The second tool she discovered was a scheduling system. Nothing fancy, just a way to plan her social media content in advance. So she wasn't scrambling every single day to post something, anything, just to stay visible. She could batch her work on Sunday evenings when the house was finally quiet, and let the system handle the rest of the week. The relief was immediate. One less thing to remember. One less daily task that made her feel like she was failing if she missed it. One less source of that low-grade anxiety that followed her everywhere. But the real game changer was what happened next. She needed a way to actually get paid. To send invoices that looked professional. To track who owed what without maintaining a complicated spreadsheet that made her eyes glaze over. She needed something simple enough that she could use it while half distracted, but reliable enough that she wouldn't lose track of money she'd actually earned. The payment platform she found did exactly that. Clean invoices, automatic reminders, clear records. It wasn't about the technology itself, it was about the mental space it gave back to her. The confidence that came from knowing her business finances were handled, even when her personal life felt chaotic. And slowly, quietly, she started to feel like someone who actually ran a business. Not someone playing pretend between carpool runs. According to recent studies, women-led home businesses are among the fastest-growing segments of entrepreneurship globally, with many reporting that the right operational tools were more important than initial capital. It's not about having everything figured out from day one. It's about removing the friction that makes every small task feel mountainous. She was learning this in real time. The fourth tool wasn't something she expected to need, a communication hub, a single place where she could manage emails, messages from potential clients, and inquiries from different platforms without losing her mind or her threads. Before this, she'd been juggling 3 different apps, missing messages, accidentally ignoring people who were trying to give her money. The tool itself was simple. What it represented was profound. Boundaries. Systems. The infrastructure of a real business, not just a side project she apologized for caring about. Her family noticed the change too, not because she was working more, but because she was working better. Less frantic scrolling, less stress bleeding into dinner time, more presence when she closed the laptop, because she trusted that her work would be there, organized and waiting, when she opened it again. Then came the doubt, the kind that whispers louder than any failure ever could. She wondered if she was spending too much on tools, if she should just push through and do everything manually to save money. If investing in her business meant she was being selfish, taking resources away from her family for something that might not even work out. It took her a while to realize every tool that saved her time was giving her more to offer everyone she loved. Every system that reduced her stress made her a better mom, not a worse one. Every hour she reclaimed was an hour she could actually be present, instead of mentally drowning in her endless to-do list. The guilt didn't disappear overnight, but it got quieter. What would you have done in her place? When the choice is between burning out, trying to do everything alone, or accepting help from tools designed to make your life easier, is there really a choice at all? Or is it just pride dressed up as perseverance? She was learning that strength sometimes looks like asking for help, even if that help comes from software instead of people. The fifth tool was about learning. Not formal courses that cost thousands and required hours she didn't have, but micro-learning platforms. Short, focused lessons she could consume while making breakfast or waiting in the school pickup line. Business strategy, marketing basics, financial literacy for entrepreneurs. 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, building a real education in the margins of her day. And something remarkable happened. She stopped feeling like an imposter. Every small piece of knowledge she gained was proof that she could figure this out, that she was figuring it out. That entrepreneurship wasn't reserved for people with MBAs and venture capital. It was available to anyone willing to learn and adapt. The transformation was gradual, almost invisible day to day, but unmistakable when she looked back. Sometimes growth doesn't look like progress. It looks like staying, like showing up again after a discouraging day, like choosing to learn one more thing when every instinct says to give up, like trusting that small, consistent actions compound into something meaningful. She was living proof of this. The sixth tool was about visibility, an email platform that let her actually build a relationship with the people interested in her work. Not just shouting into the void of social media, hoping someone would notice, but creating a direct line to people who'd actually said, "Yes, I want to hear from you." She started small. 1 email a week, sharing what she was learning, what she was building, what was actually helping. No hype, no false promises, just honest updates from one person to another. And slowly, people started responding, asking questions, sharing their own stories, becoming not just customers, but community. This was the piece she hadn't expected. How much less lonely it would feel once she had the right tools to actually connect with people who understood what she was trying to do. The seventh tool was the one she resisted longest: automation. She'd convinced herself that automation meant being impersonal, that it would make her business feel cold and corporate instead of warm and real, that real entrepreneurs did everything by hand because it showed they cared. But what she discovered was the opposite. Automation didn't make her less personal, it gave her the space to be more personal where it actually mattered. Automated follow-ups meant she never forgot to get back to someone. Automated reminders meant clients got the service they paid for, consistently. Automated systems meant she could focus her actual human attention on the conversations and creativity that required it. She wasn't replacing herself, she was amplifying herself, building infrastructure that let one person operate like a small team. What helped me the most wasn't just finding these tools, it was realizing I didn't need permission to make my work easier. I tested different platforms before finding what truly worked for my specific situation, and honestly, it changed everything. Not overnight, not dramatically, but steadily, consistently, in ways that compounded. This isn't a promotion. It's just the truth about what made the difference between giving up in month 3 and still being here, still building, still believing it was possible. I've left some resources below if you want to explore what might work for your situation. But the real tool is the decision to stop fighting with your hands tied behind your back. Her workspace was still her kitchen counter, her office hours were still carved out of nap time and those precious moments after bedtime. Her business was still small by most people's standards. But it no longer felt like chaos, it felt like possibility. Like infrastructure, like something real that she was building one small decision at a time. The tools didn't do the work for her. They couldn't. But they removed just enough friction that the work became sustainable. That showing up every day became possible instead of heroic. That building something of her own became compatible with being the mom she wanted to be. When she poured her coffee the next morning, it was still hot, because this time she wasn't rushing to manually post on 3 platforms before the kids woke up. She wasn't scrambling to remember which client needed what. She wasn't drowning in tasks that stole her presence from the people she loved most. This time, she was building with systems that supported her instead of systems that exhausted her, with tools that gave her back time instead of tools that demanded more of it, with infrastructure that whispered, "You can do this," instead of silence that screamed, "You're in over your head." Tell us which part of this journey resonated with you most and where you're watching from. Your story might just inspire the next one, because somewhere right now, another mom is staring at that blinking cursor, wondering if she has what it takes, and maybe your experience is exactly what she needs to hear. Tell us which country or city you're watching from. This content is educational and inspirational in nature, not financial or business advice. Every entrepreneurial journey is unique, and results will vary based on individual circumstances, effort, and market conditions. The tools and platforms mentioned are examples based on common entrepreneurial needs, not specific endorsements. See you in the next video. Bye.